died in that plant explosion today in Oakwood Village. The blast this afternoon at the I. Schumann and Company metal plant left one man dead, 13 others injured. Witnesses say the explosion could be felt for miles and sent debris flying a football field away. Also, nearby cars and businesses were damaged. And new tonight, here's another angle of the explosion. You can see, if you look really closely here, the smoke and flames in the shot. The video was captured on an ODOT camera at I-271 at State Route 14, looking south. Our Lydia Spar arrived on the scene shortly after that explosion took place. She is back at the plant tonight with the latest. Lydia, good evening.
And good evening to you, Russ. Now, that explosion happened shortly after 2 o'clock this afternoon. As you mentioned, one man died from that explosion. Several others were injured. Now, investigators are trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. From miles away, you can see the black smoke. And as you got closer, the flames. It was catastrophic what happened inside I. Schumann and Company. The sound so loud, many thought it was a bomb. Donald Price was inside. He was still in shock, covered in soot and dust.
Everything was going on the usual day. Everything was going fine. Next thing I know, boom, everything turned black. All that is the big explosion. It was so black you couldn't even see. So I finally made my way till I could get outside.
Outside, others who work in the industrial park witnessed something they had never seen before.
I heard a bunch of debris hitting the top of our building and landing in the parking lot. Actually, these are a few pieces that I had found in our parking lot.
The debris field so large it was like shrapnel flying through the air. I. Schumann and Company make copper alloys. The explosion happened in the middle of the plant. So powerful, it created a crater. When rescue crews arrived on the scene, it was chaotic.
It seemed like a lot of burn victims, a lot of burn injuries. The people were mostly walking wounded.
And as bad as it seemed outside, it was worse for the employees inside, who watched the building explode and crumble before them. Price was walking to his daughter's car when we met up with him.
It was like in shock. I was like in shock.
Yeah, so many people in shock, especially now that there has been a death. So 46-year-old Steve Mullins was killed in that explosion. He was a maintenance worker there. 13 others, as you mentioned, Russ, were injured. And a lot of them, I'm being told, you heard the captain there, severe burns.
Okay, Lydia Spar, thank you. Of course, more on this tomorrow and as the days go on. I. Schumann and Company issued a statement tonight. It reads in part, quote, "We will work alongside investigators in their search for answers as part of our commitment to Northeast Ohio, where we have been operating for more than 100 years," end quote. This is not the first time there's been an explosion at the plant. In April of 2006, 5 workers were injured when molten metal caused a blast. None of those injuries was serious.
All right, Shalom. Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who all in his true from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Today I just want to go into this article, about, this explosion that took place in Ohio, not train derailment, but, plant. So I'm going to read a little bit of it, and I'm going to bring out a couple of scriptures. But what this lesson is, that I found straight to the point. And the headline reads, "Man killed in explosion at Oakwood manufacturing plant. At least 13 others taken to the hospital." And it says the explosion occurred at the I. Schumann and Company metal plant on Alexander Road. The victim has been identified as 46-year-old maintenance worker Steve Mullins. Oakwood Village, Ohio. One person is dead following an explosion at an Oakwood Village manufacturing plant Monday afternoon. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office confirms. Multiple crews from across Greater Cleveland, and Akron responded to the I. Schumann & Co. metal plant on Alexander Road near Bedford, where the blast led to a fire just after 2:15 p.m. Oakwood Fire Captain Brian DeRocco says at least 13 others were taken to local hospitals with several burn injuries. With several suffering from burn injuries. The deceased victim has been identified as 46-year-old North Ridgeville native Steve Mullins, and sources tell WKY sees Lydia Esparra. He was a maintenance worker at the plant. Photos shared to 3 News showed smoke billowing to the sky with the cloud visible for miles. The blast was so great the debris landed at Northern Hazard directly across the street. The blaze is now under control, per DeRocco. As you can see, these are some of the pictures, from the explosion that took place at this plant. And a cloud of smoke can be seen, from miles away. Metro Health Medical Center tells 3 News they are treating 4 patients, with 2 currently listed as critical in university hospitals. Ahuha Medical Center in Beechwood says 7 additional people were taken to their facility. The Ohio Department of Transportation shared this traffic video footage with 3 News from a public records request from a distance. You can see the first moments of the explosion. Meanwhile, residents in communities like Seven Hills and Broadview Heights have also noted smells of burning oil, with authorities say they are likely to notice this odor for a while yet. This is not the first time that there has been an explosion at the I. Schumann & Co. plant. In April of 2006, 5 workers were injured with molten metal caused an explosion. None of those injuries were serious. You can see 3 News videos from 2006 listed below. It's like, yes, pretty much there was another, explosion in Ohio. Gotta plant this. You can see, that's footage, traffic footage from the explosion. So I'm going to go to the book of Amos chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 6, and it says, Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people be not be afraid? Shall there be evil done in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? And yes, pretty much this explosion that took place, was another form of judgment. So, that man that was killed in that explosion, that was his judgment. Even the others that were, just injured, that was judgment that went forth, The Lord judged it, man. Because, there's no telling what that man did, either in this life or, one of his past lives. Because reincarnation is a biblical thing, We've all been here in different generations, Bring out another. I'm going to go to the book of Jeremiah 51:8, and it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her pain. Slakia, howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. There is no healing America, aka Babylon the Great, Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. So pretty much the sins of Babylon, the sins of Esau, Edom have reached up into the heavens. The Lord is pretty much letting, Esau, Edom build up his sins until, he reaches the point where he's going to cut him off. But, this is just something real quick that I wanted to go into, Babylon is falling, There is no healing in this place, and things are going to get worse, because that's pretty much the second major incident, just within a week that has taken place, in Ohio. First, the train derailment in East Palestine. Now, this plant explosion, in Cleveland, or just outside of Cleveland, or Oakwood, Ohio. But, the Lord is pouring out his wrath, So just something real quick. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.